You wake up to sunlight so perfect it feels manufactured. Birds are harmonizing your name. Somewhere, a bluebird just fetched your comb, and you haven't even brushed your teeth yet. Congratulations, you're a Disney prince. You have chiseled cheekbones, morally sound intentions, and absolutely no control over your own narrative. You were designed to be charming, not complex. Your job isn't to have dreams, trauma, or opinions. It's to fall in love on cue, sing about it, and ride away before the credits roll. From the outside, life looks great. You've got a castle, a horse, and a jawline sharp enough to slice bread. But inside, you're a cardboard cutout stitched together by animators who only gave you three emotions: confidence, confusion, and concern. Nobody ever tells you what happens after the happily ever after. Because that's the thing about being a Disney prince, your existence begins and ends at someone else's climax. You exist solely to validate a princess's personal growth arc. You are her emotional accessory, the tuxedo that sings. And heaven forbid you show up in the modern era. In an age of feminism, therapy, and self-awareness, your whole existence becomes problematic. You're either too passive Prince Charming, too creepy Snow White's guy who kissed a corpse, or too bland literally every man before Aladdin. So let's rip off the fairy tale filter and face the truth. Being a Disney prince is less of a dream and more of a corporate curse wrapped in sparkle. You don't have a childhood. You just appear. No diapers, no awkward teenage years, no acne. You materialize fully grown, perfectly symmetrical, and pre-programmed to chase women with perfect pitch. You never got to scrape your knees or fail algebra. You just exist to be the ideal man. Your kingdom raised you to believe in decorum, posture, and heterosexual destiny. Every conversation ends in a bow. Every decision is about lineage. And your parents? Probably absent, dead, or emotionally unavailable. A Disney constant. You grow up surrounded by advisors who bow too much and servants who never make eye contact. You learn early that love isn't something you feel, it's something you perform. The moment you hit puberty, you're told to prepare for true love's kiss, which sounds romantic until you realize it's your career objective. Maybe you trained beside knights, sword fighting, and learning courtly manners, only to realize no one cares about your skill with a blade. They care whether you can duet in Kie. Your power doesn't come from politics or intellect. It comes from being liked. Meanwhile, the peasants you rule, they sing about how miserable they are. But you're expected to smile through the musical number, because acknowledging class inequality ruins the melody. You start to notice cracks in the perfection. Birds don't always harmonize. The love at first sight moment feels more like hypnosis. You catch glimpses of freedom in the villagers' kids running barefoot, laughing without consequence, and you wonder what that feels like. But before you can think too long, the plot begins. A curse, a prophecy, a damsel. You don't choose it, it chooses you. Because your role isn't to live, it's to advance someone else's story. And that's how it begins. You, the beautifully drawn puppet, marching toward a fate you never asked for, smiling like it's destiny. Your education is royal, yes, but also deeply stupid. Swordsmanship? Check. Etiquette? Check. Emotional regulation? Non-existent. No one ever sat you down and said, here's how to process heartbreak, or existential dread, or being a literal merchandising tool. You're taught to dance, fence, and sing. To look noble while solving no actual problems. Your biggest test? Remembering which fork to use at dinner while a witch curses your bloodline. Some princes, like Beast, get character development through trauma. Others, like Charming, remain so blank they could be replaced by a coat rack with a crown. You're part of a system that values optics over depth. You train under the unspoken motto, never sweat, never question, never cry. Because emotions wrinkle the animation. And the older you get, the more you realize that everything you've learned is theater. Heroism is just choreography. Honor is branding. Even your horse has more personality than you. There's always a test slay a dragon, rescue a girl, prove your worth. But you never get to ask why she needs saving or who put the dragon there. You just draw your sword and pose for the poster. And if you fail, you don't get a second chance. You vanish into the Disney vault, forgotten between sequels. The audience doesn't mourn you, they just wait for the next reboot. You've been trained for perfection, but never prepared for reality. Because the moment you stop smiling, you stop selling. This is where things get dangerous. The kingdom's cursed. The princess is trapped. The villain has cheekbones rivaling yours. And suddenly, you're thrust into the hero's journey you never signed up for. You ride through forests that smell like burning dreams. You battle monsters that represent everything you've suppressed. Jealousy, fear, inadequacy. The audience cheers, but you feel hollow. Maybe you slay the dragon. Maybe you break the curse. Maybe you kiss the sleeping girl because the script told you to, not because you understand consent. The world applauds, but deep down, something feels wrong. You start to realize that every battle, every rescue, every love story is preordained. You were never saving her. You were maintaining the narrative. And the villains? They always make more sense than you. The witch is just tired of ageism. The sea witch is an entrepreneur. The beast had anger issues, at least he had personality. You win the fight, but lose the point. The crown feels heavier. The applause feels fake. And when you look at the woman you've saved, she's looking past you toward her own song, her own journey. You're not the hero. You're the decorative frame around her storybook ending. Happily Ever After lasts about 3 verses. The curtain falls, the orchestra stops, and suddenly, there's no music left to fill the silence of your castle halls. The princess you married has trauma, opinions, and probably a talking pet with better comedic timing than you. You start drinking not too much, just enough to numb the realization that your entire existence peaked at age 21. You can't age, can't grow, can't even change your outfit without corporate approval. And when people remember your name, it's never for your deeds, it's for hers. You're Ariel's husband. Cinderella's man. That guy from Tangled? You've been immortalized, but never individualized. Kids wear your face on lunchboxes, but no one can name you without Googling. Admit it, you forgot that Prince Charming isn't even his real name. You watch new generations of princes emerge quippier, more progressive, animated in 4K. They get therapy arcs and backstories. You get retired. And for the first time, you realize immortality isn't a gift. It's a rerun. Centuries pass. Your face stays perfect, but the world moves on. The castles become theme parks. The songs become ringtones. The magic becomes marketing. You wander through souvenir shops, watching children buy plastic versions of your sword. Your legacy reduced to a Halloween costume and a $39 plush horse. You want to scream to tell them you were real once, that you loved, that you doubted, that your perfect smile was a mask. But you can't. You're trapped in a frame rate, doomed to replay the same 2 hours forever. The only mercy is irony. In deathless animation, even decay looks pretty. So you stand at the edge of your own castle balcony, watching fireworks burst above your kingdom explosions choreographed to your theme song. You realize, too late, the true curse of being a Disney prince. You never owned your story. You were designed to be loved, but never known. And somewhere, in another castle, another prince opens his eyes for the first time, smiling just like you did. Cue the orchestra.